Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to a brand new episode of The Conversation. And today I got something that's just bugging me out that I want to get into. And the topic today is Nick Wright the biggest joke in sports media? That's what I want to get into this video today. Now, before I get into that, I want you guys to go ahead and hit the like button because we're trying to get to as many likes as possible on these videos. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you guys go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified when all of our newest and hottest content comes out. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. Now, let me just get back into the topic. Let me first of all say, okay, I just finished having lunch. I had no intention of doing this video at all right? I was actually planning to do something else because we have some other videos we're working on, and we have another Money in Sports video coming out this week that I was pretty excited to do. So this video just came up when I was having my lunch, and I was on YouTube, and I was watching First Things First, and on this episode, the thumbnail of the title of the thumbnail of the video said, Nick Wright's opinion is not changed after the Last Dance documentary. So the moment I saw that, just like a lot of you guys that follow this channel, a lot of you guys seem to be annoyed with Nick Wright because Nick Wright is just, let me just say, Nick Wright is really, really annoying. And he's really, when you listen to him talk, you know, he's like, you know, he makes you cringe because of, you know, the way he states his points. A lot of the times he seems very arrogant. So I went into it knowing that I was going to hear something that was most likely not going to sit well with me. So I decided to humor myself and actually click on this video. So I clicked on the video. Now, before I get too far into what he said, I want you guys to just take a listen to some of the things that he said during this episode or during this segment on his show. So just take a listen to this.
I will ask you, how do you think The Last Dance impacted your opinion on the great debate that is, who is the greatest of all time?
Well, the documentary, as great as it was, didn't affect my opinion at all. And I think for most people that were alive for the era, it didn't change their opinion. Jenna, you said the poll has to sting. I think the fact that 27% of people think LeBron's the greatest shows about a 25% increase over just the last 4 years. It was June 21st, 2016, when I went on Colin Cowherd's show 2 days after Game 7 of the Finals against the Warriors and said LeBron was the greatest player ever. Not that he could be, that he already was. And at that point, I think it was 98% to 2% in favor of Jordan. So I think you're seeing a steady uptick of people coming to this realization. And I want to say something about Michael Jordan before I get to the LeBron part. People think I hate Michael Jordan. Couldn't be further from the truth. I fell in love with basketball in large part because of Michael Jordan. He was, at the time, the greatest player ever in my favorite sport, and I do sports for a living. This argument has never been about what Jordan isn't or wasn't. It's about, for me, what LeBron is. And what LeBron is bigger, stronger, faster. He's done it against far tougher competition. Every team he's beaten in the finals is better than any of the teams Jordan beat. He's done it with coaches ranging from downright awful to pretty good, as opposed to having the GOAT coach for his entire run of championships. He's done it longer. He's done it in a more variety of ways. His biggest weakness became his biggest strength. The guy who once we doubted how clutch he was now has more buzzer beaters, more game winners in the playoffs than any player ever, has more points per game in elimination games and game sevens than any player ever, and his game translates to any era. Drop LeBron James in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, or right now, and he's the best player in the league at any given time. So it's never been Jordan can't, Jordan isn't, Jordan wasn't. It's just been a guy came around who's bigger, stronger, faster, a more versatile defender, can play all five spots, can guard all five spots, has done it far longer, and has done it at a higher level, Broussard. So, no, it hasn't changed my opinion, but I do think opinions are changing on this, the fact that 1 in 4 people think it is LeBron.
Now, if you listen to Nick Wright speak, one of the things that he said was that it turns out that before this documentary came out, there were actually more people believing that LeBron James was the greatest player of all time. And now he's surprised because he actually doesn't believe some of the numbers that they're putting out. And for him, nothing has changed. All right. So, and this is where I begin to lose a lot of confidence when I listen to Nick Wright. Let me just say this. All right. What I've noticed is that a lot of these media companies, they tend to put out these different personalities that go out there and disseminate their viewpoints to their audience. However, it seems as if that these companies seem to be tone deaf to to the actual perception of what these people are saying, what their audience thinks about the people that they have on TV. I'll give you an example of this. If you guys go and watch any video, whether it be Skip Bayless versus Shannon Sharp, Max Kellerman versus Stephen A. Smith, Nick Wright versus Chris Broussard, or whatever show, if you guys go in the comment section, you really get a sense of what people think about what they're listening to. And in a lot of these, in a lot of these videos, if you go in their comment sections, a lot of people seem to be really turned off by Nick Wright. I've heard a lot of people, even on our channel, come and say, hey, listen, they stopped listening to Nick Wright. They don't pay any attention to these guys anymore. Some people say they don't listen to Shannon Sharp whenever it gets into the Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate, because a lot of these people seem to be turned off. And I'm surprised that these media companies seem to be unaware about this, or they simply don't care. I don't know what it is. Some people say, hey, listen, they say these things because it's going to get ratings, right? And I think there's a part that some of you guys who feel that way miss when you make that argument. The problem is, if people have a limited option of things that they can actually watch, limited sources that they can actually go to get their sports content, just because people watch doesn't necessarily mean that what your show that you have on is actually good. I've seen a lot of these episodes, maybe on First Things First, with a 40 or 45% dislike ratio. If you look at our channel, 97% of the people who watch our videos like our content. Now, some of you may say, well, you guys have a small audience. If the audience grows, maybe that will change. I really doubt that, because there's no reason why it would. If anything, it should grow in the same proportion. It shouldn't change that much. If more people saw our videos, I'm assuming more people would like and more people would dislike, but in the same ratio. Otherwise, it would be evident. If a video had 10,000 views, you'd be able to see it in that sample. Now, Nick Wright goes into the fact about how he doesn't believe the ESPN polls, and for him, nothing has changed. And this is where I believe Nick Wright is beginning to make himself look very, very foolish. And I use that word. It's a very strong word, but I'm serious about it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a reverse comparison. All right. Let's look at LeBron James' career accomplishments. All right. LeBron James is a 3-time NBA champion, 3 times Finals MVP, 4-time regular season MVP, 16-time All-Star, 3-time All-Star Game MVP, been on 12 All-First, 2 second. So he's been on 15 All-NBA teams. He's a 5-time All-First defensive teams, and he was a Rookie of the Year, and he was a scoring champ in 2008. All right, that's LeBron James' career accomplishments. If you look at Michael Jordan has won twice as many championships as LeBron James in a shorter period of time. MJ played for 14 years, 12 years with the Bulls. Just put that in perspective. Michael Jordan has 6 NBA Finals MVPs, twice as many. He has 5 regular season MVP awards, 1 more. He has 14 All-Star appearances because he played for only 14 years, so fine. 3 All-Star Game MVPs to LeBron. He's been on 10 All-First and 11, so he's been on 11 All-NBA teams. LeBron beats him out there, but because LeBron has played longer. MJ has been on 9 All-First defensive teams to LeBron's 5. So there we stop. There it is evident to see, regardless of what Nick Wright wants to say, regardless of what he wants to say, Michael Jordan is a better defensive basketball player than LeBron James. The numbers back it up. If that wasn't enough that he's been on 9 All-First defensive teams, MJ also won a Defensive Player of the Year award, which to me even solidifies the fact that he's a much better defensive basketball player. To add insult to injury, MJ has led the league in steals 3 times. Not once, not twice, but 3 separate times. That means he's led the league in steals more than Kawhi Leonard, who is considered a defensive specialist. So on defense, MJ is clearly better. Now, in championship competition, he's twice as successful. All right? If we look at scoring, it's not even a conversation. LeBron led the league in scoring 1 time. MJ has led the NBA in scoring 10 times. And if we want to talk about flair and pizzazz and all of these different things, MJ won the slam dunk contest twice. And probably has the most iconic dunk in the history of the NBA contest, which ends up with dunk contest, which turned into his logo with the free throw line dunk. Okay, so Michael Jordan, decisively, looking at the facts, is a better basketball player than LeBron James. If we want to talk about comparisons in the playoffs, MJ's career average in the playoffs is over 30 points. He has the highest scoring average in the playoffs. MJ's career average for scoring is 30 points a game. So when Nick Wright comes out and says his opinion has not changed, I think that there's a problem with him saying that, because what Nick Wright is doing is that he is not being honest. And you have to be able to be honest if you're going to be on TV giving your views. I'll say it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am a huge Kobe Bryant fan. Kobe Bryant is my favorite basketball player of all time. My favorite. But I look at, if I had to compare him and Michael Jordan, they're virtually the same player, right? So if you want to argue that Kobe Bryant is just as good as Michael Jordan as a basketball player, you could make that argument. But MJ's more successful. And MJ has more he has more accomplishments. So as a Kobe fan, I gotta bite the bullet. But again, it doesn't make me less of a person to admit that. It doesn't take away from Kobe's greatness. What I do is I give props to who deserves it, and in this case, it's Michael Jordan. For whatever reason, Nick Wright doesn't seem to have this ability in him. And the producers of that show, I don't know why, they continue to let this guy just simply run amok on television and say these things. And they seem to be unaware of the fact that a lot of people are turned off by this type of commentary. A lot of people, more than probably that they realize, because it's not just people on our channel leaving these comments, it's people on their shows commenting and saying, what the hell is this guy talking about? And today, after listening to Nick Wright, I've come to the conclusion that Nick Wright is the biggest joke in sports media commentary. He is the number one joke. He is the biggest running joke. The only problem is he doesn't know he's a joke, because he cannot simply admit something when it's true. And that's the reason why I cannot listen to Nick Wright, and so many people are turned off by him. So that's what I think. I know this video seems like a bit of a rant, but I was sort of like just set off by what I saw, and I was like, let me just make a video about this real quick. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you agree with me that Nick Wright really needs to just, he's a joke when it comes to sports commentary, or do you think I'm wrong? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day. Peace.